welcome back to Political Paradigm. Let's switch the conversation now, and I'm joined by former House of Reps Chair and Army. He's a two-time governorship aspirant of Adamawa State and has been recently appointed the Director General of the Border Communities Development Agency, Honorable Abdulrazak Namdas. Welcome to Political Paradigm.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Terry.
You're not aging at all. What's going on?
I'm aging.
You seem too relaxed. I mean, you've gone from NDDC to BCDA now. How's the agency doing, the BCDA?
Yes, we thank God. Actually.
It's a very key agency considering our security situation and the border concerns. But we hear that there's some crisis at the agency. Have you resumed work?
Well, I have not resumed work, but I think very soon I will resume. You know, when announcements when President announces an appointment, it has to undergo some bureaucratic processes. And I want to believe that once those bureaucratic processes are completed in the SGF's office, I will be given my letter and I will resume duty. I think it's not a problem.
Well, you sure it's not a problem? Because it's been reported as a problem. I mean, it's been weeks since you were appointed, and we hear that the man who was there before, Korinima George, has not vacated the seat, even though he left to go run an election. Now, the question is, did he resign? Did he not resign? Are you confidently saying that it is peaceful, or is that the true situation of things?
Actually, no, that's not my area of purview.
Okay.
Because anytime I get my letter, if I get to the office and I have issues, then I now believe that there's an issue on ground. But for now, I think I have not even been given a letter, so I don't want to speculate on what I don't know. But I can tell you that given what is happening in the country, that the president has even directed an investigation to affect agency. Officials of government are trying to do due diligence on certain things before they issue letters. I think, let me believe that all is well. This is the second time the president is appointing me to office. I represented the Northeast on the governing board of the NDDC. And when I was appointed, it took some few weeks before I got to resume. So no problem. I think it will come by the grace of God.
So here, the problem with that is that we're seeing that the budget for the ministry, for that agency, is stalling because of the leadership situation. Does it normally take weeks or almost a month for you to get your letter of appointment?
No, I just feel that this is something that the Secretary of Government of the Federation will actually deal with. Remember when the head of service appeared before the ad hoc committee investigating the fake agency in the House of Representatives, she admitted to the fact that some of the officials acted on certain letters, but they are sorry about it. So what I'm trying to say is that it will not only be the head of service. I expect that even all over, people will now be very careful before they take actions. And whoever, the Secretary of Government is the one that will oversee some of these things. And I believe there's a problem he should be in a position to handle. But I want to believe that by the time I pick my letter, and the president said with immediate effect, and the announcement has not been reversed. So I want to assure you that I will be there.
So I'm giggling over that because you said the president said with immediate effect. It's almost a month now. You still don't have the letter. The agency is suffering from lack of funding. There's another man, the man who was there before, who was chosen not to leave the office.
You see, when I was appointed in NDDC, I was appointed actually in August.
Yes.
But I resumed in October.
That's bureaucracy, it's understandable.
That's bureaucracy.
There was no one fighting you as to whether or not you're supposed to be there or not. This is a different situation.
Terry, even now, when you say somebody is fighting me, assuming they have collected a letter and I get to the office and I find somebody claiming my office, then I'll be.
So why is the Ministry of Finance withholding the budget of the agency?
You see, I've not resumed, so I don't want to speak on something that I don't have the powers to do, authority to talk about.
Yeah, from my understanding of the Border Communities Development Agency, you have a lot on your plate, considering Nigeria's porous borders, considering the security situation, ungoverned spaces around that area. Do you have an idea what is ahead of you and what your plans are for that agency?
Mr. Terry, you see, I am not new to BCDA. I know we've been together in the House of Representatives when you used to cover us, and I've been there for 8 years. And while I was there, I belonged to a committee called Special Duties. That committee oversighted BCDA.
Okay.
And I was one of those that active members that oversighted the BCDA. So I'm not new to them. In fact, their head office that time was in Maitama, not Utako as it is at the moment. And almost all my constituency projects, 70% of them were domiciled in the BCDA. If you go to my constituency now, I still have a lot of projects that were supervised by the BCDA. If I should go to the office today, I am very sure I will know some faces that because I've been oversighting them, I know their challenges. So, given that, given the situation, I want to tell you that if I get to the office today, my plan is that you need to do a needs assessment of the border communities. You see, these communities are neglected. And sometimes they lay their allegiance to the other country instead of Nigeria. So, because I come from a border community too, so these challenges are something that I know very well. I'm part of it. So, you don't do needs assessment. You wouldn't know what community A and community B is looking for. Some communities, their problem will be water. Others will be electricity. You give them small power panels. Others will be school. And everybody has his own challenge. Some will even need small culverts and bridges that can make them move from one community to the other. So this needs assessment will give me an idea of the challenge and the priority I should put in place. And again, while I was oversighting the place, I know that communities on their own do write to BCDA. I come from a border community. We have written to the BCDA before, and they responded. So sometimes you look at some of the write-ups from some of these communities on their own. Then you look at what you have and you look at what your team have gone to the place to see what is their priority. So I think I will do a needs assessment and see what is it that is a priority, because the mandate of the BCDA is to fill the gap of infrastructure. People don't, if you go to some communities like border communities, some go to schools in other bordering countries. So instead of them to pay allegiance to your country, they feel that, look, they go to school. So you give them the school here. You provide hospital for them. Get water for them potable water for them to drink, because it also has some health challenges. So this is what I will do.
As chairman, former chairman, House Committee on Army, I'd like to think that you have some security expertise to understand the consequences of having a weak security system at our borders. We're talking about over 1,500 border communities, and
in fact we have about 3,000 border communities.
So you see, and the issue of smuggling and arms trafficking is a major concern as far as these border communities are concerned. When you look at the agency as it is, do you think it has a direct responsibility on these border communities?
If you look at the act establishing the BCDA, this BCDA was established in 2003, and then you know that the act actually allows for the board to relate with some ministries. I can remember very well that the Minister of Defense, the IGP Police, they are all part of BCDA. And most of the ministers, the education, agri, internal affairs, and what have you. So since you have the security components, certainly you are supposed to work, that's what we call interagency collaboration. Yes. So you need to also collaborate with these agencies, the security forces, to see how best you people can put heads together and provide security. In some cases, some communities need a police post where some policemen will be drafted to stay there, so that they can be able to oversee, and they work together with some vigilante groups and what have you to see how they can work together. And I think my understanding again is that the ECOWAS protocol on free movement of goods and services allows citizens of West Africa to move from one point to another freely, because there's a protocol. There's an agreement between these West African states. Now, in the process, you find people try to take advantage of that, smuggle drugs, some criminal activities. Some people even are alleged to even smuggle some arms, like small and light weapons. It's been reported that about over 500 million small and light weapons are already smuggled across Nigerian borders. So these are things that you have to work with, using the interagency collaboration, work with the NIS, Nigerian Immigration Service, Customs, Police, DSS, and see how you can be able to cope this.
Okay.
And don't forget that, my PhD was in, I did my PhD, my thesis on cross-border conflict and insurgency. So I a little bit know some of these challenges.
Right. So now you are a former Chairhouse Committee on Army.
Yes, sir.
And while you were there, one of the things you canvassed for was improvement in the welfare of security personnel and also the right equipment for them to work and fight. The president has recently increased the salaries of the men of our armed forces. What does this say, and does this make up for the concerns around the sophistication of the weapons with which our men fight?
You see, weapons alone cannot do anything. You need the welfare of the people. You have to motivate even the personnel to put in their best, because machines cannot just work on their own. They still need human interactions to see how this thing can be fully optimized, fully utilized. And I know that even during Buhari era, a lot of attention was paid on machineries and what have you. And the present government has also upgraded that. And increasing the salaries of military personnel is something that we also canvassed in our time we didn't get. But I think in Buhari's era, it was the police in 2021 got that benefit. But now I think the president has done optimally well. Because if you look at the life of a soldier, he may be married, but I can tell you he will see his wife probably just twice or in a week, in a year, either a month, because he keeps being transferred from one point to the other, and he needs to have that, his welfare to be taken care of him, both him at the war front and his family back home. So this is very key and it's important. I think the president has actually done that. And in this case, the way it was increased, I think it's very significant. 80% was meant from private soldiers to either to sergeant. This is 80% of them, because these are the major guys that go to the war front and do the main job. So I think it boosts their morale. Apart from that, even the middle cadre about 50%, and then the generals about 30%. I think that is something that I think the president has actually done well. We canvassed for that.
So when you hear the opposition raising concerns around insecurity in the country, and your understanding of what you believe the president has done, how do you feel?
You see, let me even take you an example. The president said, okay, I have approved, given the approval to increase the personnel of the military to up to 28,000. Now, 28,000 is not small. But again, people should also understand that the president has done two things. One, making that pronouncement to recruit 28,000. But now, in our time, when I was chairman, the only depot, Zaria depot, was the only depot that was training new recruits. And that was established as far back as 1924. This is a century, almost a century. Only one strict place. So the infrastructure in that place has already gone. And you cannot be able to take more than, let's say, 600 to 700 people per session. Not because they don't have the manpower, but it has been overstretched. But this president said, having realized this, let me even increase the number of depots to 3. He has increased, there's one depot in Ebonyi now, there's a depot also in Osun State. Now, and making 3 depots. So that means by the time this recruitment is going to take place, the numbers will really increase. And that apart, the divisions. During the Civil War, it used to be only divisions in 1967 to 70. It used to be only 1st Division in Kaduna, 2nd Division in Ibadan, 3rd Division here in Plateau, in the Central. But subsequent governments started increasing, like Obele Jonathan brought 7th Division to take care of insurgency in Borno State. The President Buhari also increased his own, brought Sokoto, brought, I think Port Harcourt also. Now, the President currently expanded another 4 divisions. We have Adamawa, Taraba taking care of Division 10. We have Ilorin, 9th division. He has already also, I think that's 83 division in, I think in Benin. And one other division, I think, I can't remember, but I know it's about 4. So that has taken care of more surveillance. And border communities will now be able to benefit from that because it has gotten closer to the people. In my state alone, out of 21 local governments, about 9 local governments are on border communities. So you can imagine that hitherto before now, the military may not be able to cover most of this place, but with this expansion, I want to tell you that the president will sufficiently, the military will sufficiently be able to cater for some of these communities that hitherto have no security, surveillance, and protection.
Okay, so this is beyond the communities, because when we take a look at the statistics of Nigerians who have died across, it's over 600,000 Nigerians since May 2023, and that's a big figure. So when you take if you take the issue of insecurity in isolation, and I'm taking that with you because you're a former chair on Army, and now you head the Border Community Development Agency, which is also a key security aspect of Nigeria. When you take the statistics of the deaths in the past 3 years, and then you compare that to what you say, when you take insecurity in isolation, would you say that Nigeria has made progress? Insecurity has not entirely been wiped out, but how do you measure the progress with regard to insecurity, considering all the things you've reeled out that the president has done to tackle insecurity?
Yes, I think there's marked improvement. But I think, remember, even in this government, the Nigerian military it's already in public domain that they've been able to deal with over 13,000 insurgents. So when you're talking of the deaths, also consider the fact that even the insurgents are being dealt with. It's not only people that are in those communities, that even the insurgents are being dealt with. And that has because the military have done their part. And to be fair, we're not only going to say only the military. When we say this times around, when they do some kind of, some kind of cooperation, you'll find that, I say, you get the police, the DSS, the army, they all sometimes do joint operations to see how they can be able to succeed. I think they've been really doing their best. However, you see, people always feel that there are certain policies of government that has been able to even reduce insurgency. Insurgency is not just about shooting, killing people by the council. Sometimes you take proactive means of how you can be able to address insurgency. Sometimes moving from point A to point B, where you have bad roads, during our time when we go for oversight, we find out that even infrastructure, simple infrastructure like bad roads also causes problems. That's why we were calling on state governments that also do your own part. Don't just rely on federal government, because when these insurgents come and then they block a road, people cannot even run away. You understand? So because the road is bad, so they get trapped, and sometimes they fly mines on the road. So, but with this government, I think they've been able to get good equipment. There is understanding between joint operations between armed forces and some other security networks, and that has really helped reduce the challenges we have at the moment.
Yeah, about the factor of poverty, which many say is the root cause of insecurity in the country. Do you think this government has been able to tackle poverty headlong? And perhaps you might want to point to statistics because of the numbers, which are suggestive that that more people are delving into poverty.
Well, I think poverty is not only confined to Nigerian society. It is almost a global issue. However, there are certain policies of government that have been put in place to cushion the effect of poverty. I give you an example. When this government came into existence in 2023, one of the policies that people really criticized is removal of the oil subsidy. Agreed, and I agree with them that when the subsidy was removed, certainly there was hardship. But it's already expected because government policies and programs need time to always germinate. But in the long run, this removal of fuel subsidy ended up getting more revenue for Nigeria. And today, most of the governors across the states, and 36 states and the FCT, have doubled their income.
Yeah, they say there's more money
There's
for
more
the
money.
governors.
So once there is no money...
They say it's more money for the governors and not more money for the people, because the poverty index from 2023 to 2026 shows that 56% of Nigerians live below poverty line.
You know, I don't know from which source you get that, you are able to get that. But what I'm saying is that...
it's the NBS.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that me and you have agreed that more money for the governors. It is also the duty of these governors at their state level to handle. I come from a state, you come from a state. I want to believe that if you go to Adamawa State, where I come from, because I want to talk about what I know, is that the kind of infrastructure and economic activities going on in Adamawa State is really, really very encouraging. And normally you need the liquidity and you need business activities to always move on. I think attempts are being made to address some of these issues. And I also give you, there was this unification of exchange rate. Before the coming of this government, there were different windows of exchange rate. Some official exchange rates. People will go and buy dollar at an official exchange rate and then sell it to the black market. They sit in the comfort of their room, using their air condition and make billions of money because they have ways to access the official rate. Yet when they get it, instead of doing business with it, they go to the black market and sell, sit in one place. But when the unification comes up, it gave investors confidence because there is just one single window to now do the foreign exchange. And that also allowed investors to come in and put their money because they know that there's no differentiation, no different windows. So it also helped boost the economy.
So that takes me to Adamawa State, which you just mentioned, because it's not a huru as you try to paint the picture because of more money. There's insecurity. There's still the farmers' headed clashes. They still have an IDP explosion problem in Adamawa State, and then the poverty index in Adamawa is high, still regarded as one of the poorest states in the country. How's governance in Adamawa?
I would like to debate that because I like to debate that.
Which of them?
When you say it is the poorest, it's
one of the poorest.
One of the poorest, but can't be the poorest.
No, I didn't say the poorest. I said one of the poorest.
Even one of the
poorest says it was about 74%. Governor Fintiri insists that he's dropped it to 60%, which is still high if we go by his statistics.
Yeah, you see, governance is about continuation.
Yes.
You don't expect one single governor to solve a problem at the same time. Like some of the problems we are having currently are not caused by the president. It was a lifelong program. Then each government will come and do its own part to solve the problem, and the next person will also do it. So it's not like running a race of 4x4. You give the button to the next person. So I agree that we have a challenge of poverty. I am not contesting that. But I think the most important thing in governance is that when you have a challenge, what are those mechanisms you have to put in place to address this issue, this challenge? And I think in Adamawa, I'm not speaking for him. I'm not the spokesman of the governor. But having come from there, I know that, and I'm a rural person, don't worry. I know that he has put some things in order. Today you have what you call, he has been given a wallet, I forgot the name, Paweka. Every person, the person listening to me know, the countries have addressed what is called Paweka. Citizens and a lot of unemployed people are given some stipends, 50,000, so that they can be able to cushion the effects of some of these the challenges we have. And it has been working, provide scholarship to students. Even internationally, people are going outside to study. And these are things that you put in order. It's not like even at the federal level, I am proud to say that as a APC person, that the president has also created what is called NEL Fund. That was first. In my days, I don't have NEL Fund now. All this Nigeria Education Fund. It was not there, but it's there. And in the North, we have benefited very much from that scholarship. And these are also measures that have been put in place to address poverty. And I think we don't expect that those measures will solve 100% the problem of poverty. But as time goes on, it will get to reduce. And I pray that it works.
Okay, hopefully you can also address the unemployment numbers in the state. But let me ask you a question as far as politics is concerned, because you've run for governor twice in Adamawa State. The interesting part is, the first time there was an interference from, I think, the wife of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. The second time, this one which you just concluded, we understand that the NSA had some interest. So it raises questions around the politics in Adamawa State, and especially the APC in the Adamawa State. It's interesting that you speak so positively coming from that kind of election primary process, which many didn't find, as straightforward as possible. Well, what's the true situation of the APC and politics in Adamawa State?
Let me tell you, politics is a game of interest. If somebody tells you that X and Y has interest, NSA has interest, Namdas also has interest. It was the interest that drove me to contest for governorship. And whoever supports me, somebody will say the person has interest in Namdas. So, and how good you are able to play the game. For me, as an APC person and a party loyalist, I wouldn't like us to bother so much about, because we are past the stage. If I should complain now, what am I trying to achieve with that? The person who emerged victorious, Galadima Tijani, he has visited me. I was the runners-up. I came second in the election. He came to me and pleaded that he wants to work with me.
Was there an election?
And I feel that...
was there an election?
You say?
Was there an election that the primary election didn't really hold?
That's the election. That's the election.
The reports we get from Adamawa suggests that it was more of an imposition.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that I, for one, I want to tell you that we have passed the stage of whether there was an election or there was not an election.
So reconciliation.
The truth of the matter is that in politics, what do we want to achieve at the moment? What we want to achieve at the moment is that we want APC to win election. And somebody is already on ground to fly the flag of the
governorship election.
And I am ready to support him and work.
How about the presidential election? Do you think Atiku will win again in 2020?
Well, I'm an APC person, so I think President Tinubu will win again.
No, you said that last year, in 2023.
Yes, I
that
said
Tinubu will win.
Yes.
Adamawa.
He won. Well, yes, you have to have a positive mind as a...
Well, politics is not just about positivity, it's about working around.
Yes, but you have to work on the positivity too. If you have the belief that you are not going to make it, you can demoralize your members. And let me even tell you the scenario. If the variables that will make you win election today may not be the same variables to win election tomorrow. Now, for example, at the time, we couldn't make it in Adamawa for Tinubu. It's because the governor at that time and even the former vice president were in different parties. They were in PDP. And we APC in Adamawa, we were opposition at that time.
I've just come off an interview with Mr. Buba Galadima, who was strongly opposed to state police, especially as far as the political angle of it is concerned. Well, what do you say?
You mentioned here that I was chairman House Committee on Army.
On Army, yes.
So since I was chairman House Committee on Army, I should not be talking about politics of whether the governor is going to use the state police to deal with opposition. Human beings, we are talking about elite's personal interests. Let us discuss about how the state police is going to help.
Well, it's the same thing. I'm asking what you think about state police,
that I'm saying.
Considering the concerns.
I agree that I am fully in support of state police. This governor will not last more than 8 years, so another person will come.
Very well then. Honorable Abdulrazak Namdas, thank you very much for your time on the political paradigm.
I appreciate it.
We're monitoring to see if they actually, allow you to resume.
I will resume by
your new office, or they rescind the decision. Anyways, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Well, I've been speaking with Honorable Abdulrazak Namdas. He is currently the Director General of the Border Communities Development Agency, even though there are some scuffles here and there hindering his resumption. But he's also the former chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Army. If you'd like to catch this conversation and the previous one with Mr. Buba Galadima, please go to YouTube and search Political Paradigm or go to channelstv.com. Thank you for your time. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.